Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Lane. Thank you for joining Mims. Are you
Hey,
guys ready for our season 5, episode 28, Love During Lockup episode recap? This one is the morning after.
I'm ready.
Okay, good deal. So we're gonna start with Ayana and Jamal. So Ayana and Jamal, where we were, I guess we're starting where we left off from last week. And this is after Ayana's Zoom call or Zoom court date, right? So she's still fuming after the court date and she's mad. But it's weird the way that they did it because this is all one day. So she had the court date and her visit to go see Jamal all at the same day, right? So her friend comes over to pick her up because, of course, she can't drive, right? And she's getting the kids together, and I think she starts off an hour late. So she's really upset about this. The friend comes to pick her up, and the friend is actually somebody I read online. She's Lexi Blow, and I don't know if you know who Lexi Blow is from Jocelyn's Cabaret. I didn't
Oh,
watch
she
that
did
season.
look familiar, but when I saw her, the only thing I could think about was her BBL.
Oh, really?
That was the only thing I kept seeing was the BBL.
And I'm gonna share. Hold on, let me.
Her BBL?
No, not the BBL. I'm gonna share
Oh,
her picture.
oh, okay.
Because I did pull up the picture of her because I was like, I wanted to go back and see because somebody had gifted me a Zeus subscription. So I watched one season of Jocelyn's Cabaret.
What would that mean?
Yeah, that'd be you. And they didn't give it to me the next season, so I wasn't able to watch it again. So that's why I wasn't familiar with her.
Uh, in my defense, Zeus wasn't what it was then. It wasn't all about fights.
Okay, so here she is in the car ride, right? And they're on their way to go see Jamal. And they're going through traffic. They're having some issues. All in all, it ends up. I think she was supposed to have like a 3 hour visit with Jamal, but it ended up only being like 30 minutes. So that didn't work out for her too well. So she was really, really upset about this, and she's going off, and she's really mad. One thing I'd like to note though is the fact that she's wanting to see Jamal because she's not going to be able to spend time with him and she's going to be, going to prison and, all these other issues. But at no point during this does she ever say, well, I'm going to spend some extra time with my kids, right? Like, I'm not going to see them either. They're going to be away from their mom for the 15 days that she's in jail. She's more concerned with spending time with Jamal, somebody who's been in prison all this time and you haven't seen him anyway.
I was thinking that, but I was also thinking she's hypersexualized because what you didn't point out to the people was saying, I'm going to finger pop myself and put it in his mouth so he can taste my pussy.
Well, I'm so glad that because they had bleeped out part of it, so I didn't really know exactly what it was that she said.
Yeah. Now, once you're monetized, you're not going to be able to say these things. But before you're monetized, yeah, that's what that was.
That's exactly what she was saying.
I'm going to finger pop my pussy and so that he can taste my pussy. That's what it was.
And her friend wasn't, moved by that at all. She was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine." Like,
I
this is
look,
normal for us.
well, so the strippers that I know, uh, I don't know a stripper who is enamored by men in the way that she is. You know what I mean? Because they're so accustomed to dudes like hitting on them that is just like second nature. She seems man crazy, like to the point where it has kind of like overtaken her life.
Yeah, all aspects of her life. Everything is Jamal. Everything is about him. Everything that she does, and I get it. Like, we're on the show, and that's the pieces of her life that we're seeing. But it just seems like, yeah, everything seems to be about him. She doesn't care about these kids. She doesn't care about, the fact that she's actually going to jail. She's more concerned about whether or not she's going to be on probation when she gets out, and she won't be able to have him living with her. So yeah, it does seem to be all about him. I mean, I don't know any
And
strippers now, but
stripping at
I'm
night,
going to take your word for it.
you got multiple. Well, I mean, she's when I saw these women, I didn't make the correlation that this other one was from Jocelyn's Cabaret, but these would be the girls who are not like featured. They probably work at like a strip club, like where Nene worked, probably close to the airport. And it is what it is. These girls are not getting featured performer rates.
Yeah, the strip club that's because they filmed a little bit at the club that she works at, right? It didn't look like it was one of the, you
Sell
know,
steaks.
right. It looked like it may have been one of your neighborhood type
Mhm.
type strip club. So yeah, I don't think that. And I think that, you can tell by the way that she lives, it doesn't she's not like flashy, right? She doesn't have a flashy car. She doesn't have.
Tanika wants to know which girl is going to prison.
So that's gonna be Ayana. She's the one with the bandana on.
She did all this to go see her man, and that's what she wore. She was more concerned with the lip gloss so that she could kiss him, even though you're not supposed to.
Right.
And she wants to make sure to play with herself so that he can taste it.
Well, I mean, I guess this is the same outfit that she wore to court, right? Like this is the same thing she wore for Zoom court.
I bet you she. Oh, let me not say that. Nothing.
You could say it. I'm not monetized,
No,
remember?
no. It's okay.
Well, all of the most of the what
I'm
I'm
gonna say it. I bet you she's the type of girl who puts a little bit of her monthly visitor in food to get a soul tie with the dude.
I hope not. I
She's
absolutely.
playing with it so that he can taste her, so that's on his tongue. So you're saying you think that it would be too far for her to put a little bit in his food?
I don't want to say what I think is too far because I think she's really ignorant. Let me just be honest.
Okay.
I think she's
Okay. So okay, yeah.
The other thing I'm going to say though, also is I'd be very careful bringing my friends around this man. I mean, if you took this man from your friend, I don't know that I'd be bringing this woman around, Jamal. I don't know that he'd be trustworthy enough to bring somebody around, but who knows?
I'm not that kind of friend. I'm not spending hours taking you to drop your kids off, then waiting for you to spend hours with your man at the prison. This girl wanted camera time.
That's what I was kind of thinking because I was like, you're going to go and sit outside for 3 hours while she visits with him outside of a prison. Like, what are you doing? I don't get it.
People are saying that's nasty, but people do it, and I could see her doing it.
Yeah, she's going to try to keep Jamal by any means necessary. I don't know, but yeah, she clearly flies off the handle for anything. Like her emotions are all over the place. When she left the prison and she's like, just pull over, just pull over. And the way she's talking to this girl was really rude. I need to get out, and she gets out and she's talking to Jamal and she's going off and nothing's going my way and I'm just mad. And she just really flies off the handle for, seemingly no reason. Like it doesn't even make any sense. But that's where we are with Ayana.
Where we are is we're watching somebody who's in love with a prisoner who is best friends with somebody from Jocelyn Cabaret. That's where we are in life. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on. That's all we saw from Ayana and Jamal this week.
Tanika said she took her friend to see her husband. I visited my friends in prison, and that's that woman's husband. This woman, like, you can Uber, ma'am. Period. You can Uber. This girl.
Oh, you mean like she took a friend to prison to see her husband once, is what she's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's different than a friend who is having another friend monopolizing her day for a dude in jail who she's not with. And this girl is like Reddit Lane pointed out, you're not saying I need to spend time with my children before I don't see them for 2 weeks because I'm going to jail for my own F up. You're just mad that the potentially you won't be able to live with this man. That's why she's mad. She's not mad. She's going to be pulled away from her children for her own it was like DUI, right? Driving under the influence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who's next? This lady's pissing me off.
So next we're going to go to Candace and Andrew, right? That's our couple who last week, she just got released from prison.
Oh, I feel bad for this guy.
Do you really though?
He looks like a one of those little garden gnomes. And he seemingly really wants to maybe I was just in a mood because I hadn't slept last night. So I'm watching this thing today And I'm looking at it as these are all really sad individuals who are just looking for companionship at all costs. Candace ain't looking for companionship. I'm talking about the people who are out of prison.
This guy specifically, yes, he, you know, you feel bad because he had been looking for someone. I feel a little bit bad, but I'm not gonna say I don't feel all the way bad, because I'm gonna go back to the fact that you've spent all this money on this woman and you have a daughter. Like, I have to keep going back to that. Like, you have a daughter that you're paying $450 a month in child support for, and you're giving all your money to this woman. So I feel a little bit bad for you, but I feel worse for your daughter.
Do we know that he's not also spoiling the daughter? Like maybe he's paying the child support, but also doing a lot of stuff for her?
Well, the fact that he bragged on the 450 a month like that was doing something, like I'm up to date and current on my child support. He didn't say I go above and beyond for my daughter, right? And I give her even more than the child support. He just made it seem as if this is sufficient for her,
Maybe your first interview needs to be with his baby mama.
Right? That's a good one.
Maybe that's
the first thing I want to do is advise her to go take him back to court, right? Like, you're definitely not getting enough. If you looked at that $6,800 a month that he was getting and you're getting 450, like, you're not getting enough, literally.
She came out with Louis Vuitton purses, a brand new truck.
Yeah. So this week, they get to the halfway house, and the halfway house, she comes out and she says, okay, they're allowing her to stay at the apartment. So it's not a total waste, the apartment, because now she can at least stay there, right? She gets back to the apartment, and it was really funny watching her get back to the apartment because her face completely lit up, right? Like, she gets there, she's like, oh my God, you got all this stuff for me. Now, her face didn't light up that way when she saw Andrew outside of the prison. Her face lit up, though, when she saw that apartment and that was fully furnished, right? But then she goes, she eats her food. I think he got her some chicken or something. She takes her shower, and then she goes into her sad story about, how she really wants to see her son. I think it's a son. I don't know. She wants to see her son, and all of the problems and the things that she's been through, and she's really tired and she wants to go to bed, but he can sleep in the same bed with her, but there has to be a space between them. Like, they can't cuddle or touch or anything when they get in the bed, and he accepts this. Like, you can't touch me, you can't do anything. So it's absolutely ridiculous that you think that you should be able to just use this man, right, in the way that you're using him, and then not even hug him or touch him or cuddle with him when you go to sleep.
This reminds me of Mia and Gordon from Potomac.
Did they have a similar situation?
He has erectile dysfunction, so he just kind of allowed her to be with other men. So for him, it was just having like a trophy. So for this garden gnome, she's a trophy. But I'm sure he wants to get a little juxtapose Andrew barely being able to kiss her. He's already proposed. He can't sleep. He can sleep in the same bed, but he has to stay on his side and she has to be on her side. And the stripper finger popping herself, and you know what I mean? Like, if you juxtapose those two things, I don't know what he could do. He's short. Do you find him attractive?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so he's not classically attractive, and he's a little bit of a people pleaser. A girl like Candace, who has lived a wild ass life, is not going to respect him.
Absolutely not. She's
that's the problem.
For a ride for everything that he has. Like, she's going to end up going through everything. And I think, she was like, oh, I'm so happy. When he goes back in 6 days, then I'll really have time to myself and I'll really be able to like do things that I need to do. And it's like, it's so transparent. Like, you don't want this man. You want this apartment and the things that he's bought for you, and you're so upset that you can't be with him because supposedly you don't have your son with you. And that means that, you can't be with him. But where was your son, or where were you thinking about your son when you were asking him for designer bags and sunglasses and a truck? Like, you weren't thinking about your son then. You weren't so upset about that and all the things that you had been through that you couldn't ask this man for all of these things. Like, I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. You weren't asking him to send your son gifts. You were asking for gifts for yourself.
Right. And now you can't wait for him to leave because you have other plans. Like it's clear you have other plans.
She's probably gonna go work at that club with the last girl.
She's gonna go find some man that she really wants and bring him to that apartment. Like this man is gonna be like, miles away, so she can do whatever she wants to.
She probably only agreed to be with him because he wasn't in the same city.
Right. And she knew that he wasn't gonna move, right?
There's no way you should agree to marry somebody if you don't feel comfortable with them touching you.
I think it caught her off guard. I don't think she was expecting that, and then it was like on camera, and I just don't even think she was expecting something like that. Otherwise, she probably would have said no, because she could have had time to think of her answer like, oh no, I've been through too much, it's too soon. She probably would have come up with that excuse, but he caught her off guard, and that's probably why she said yes. Because she definitely doesn't want to be with him. Like it's clear. It's clear.
But you know what? Okay, so let me say this much. Because I think we're giving him so much grace. The stripper wanted the bad boy.
Right.
He wants the bad girl. So this is also on him. It's not that you couldn't just find a woman. You could be a simp and offer to pay somebody's bills and buy them a truck, and you can get a sugar baby. He has a hard on for bad girls. And he's going to continue to face these kind of problems because those type of women will chew him up and spit him out.
I mean, you would think. I mean, I just think that for me, I think he was just a desperate person that went on a prison pen pal website like somebody suggested he do. Like, I don't think that he sought out, to go find a bad girl. I think he was desperate because he couldn't find anybody to, that was
I think bad girls is his type.
You think so?
I think bad girls.
I would need to have a little bit more because if
he was going to be a sugar baby, a sugar daddy, which is what you are, you could have been a sugar daddy to somebody outside of prison. And sugar babies are all over. There's a whole bunch of YouTube sites. There are sugar baby support groups, bad bitch support. It exists. And you know what I mean? Like a sugar baby is going to take his money and do whatever the agreed upon
arrangement.
Yeah, is. He wants a bad girl that he wants to reform, but you then just wasted your money because Candace looks like she is down for a good time with anybody other than you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it in the past in other seasons where, you have people that that they don't want to be with these people, but, they kind of play the game. She's not even playing along.
Don't kiss me. Don't touch me.
We can sleep in the same. Well, at least she let him sleep in the same bed. She could have said, I need you to sleep on the couch.
And he would have.
Right. Because did you see him at the end where he got all teary eyed? Like he took that sob story that she told and he's like, oh, I just feel so bad for her. No, Andrew, we feel bad for you. Nobody feels bad for her at all. She's winning.
Yeah.
She's absolutely.
He could find a sugar baby. If you're spending $14,000 on somebody, you could find a sugar baby.
Yeah.
Or you could find a regular woman who wants to be in a marriage and there is somebody out there for everybody. If Charles and Miss Netta could find each other for the money, then Andrew can get a woman. He wants this. Trust me. He's the same type of man who drives his pickup truck to the block and picks up a lady of the night. He probably likes the more dominatrix ones.
Maybe.
I just made up a whole scenario with this thing. Okay, my bad. Oh, who's next?
Yeah, that's all that happened with Andrew and Candace this week. Yeah, not thinking that he's guilty. So we're going to go on to Joey and Michael. Now, this was a little bit of a sad one this week for them.
The two drug addicts?
Yeah, because
which week isn't sad for them?
Well, no, it was like super sad.
Their whole storyline has been, you're gonna make me what's it called when you go backwards?
Relapse?
Yes, their storyline is, oh, he's gonna make him relapse. He doesn't know how to suck D, So I don't know if it's gonna last.
Well, I don't know if I thought that was like tearjerker sad or more pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so Joey's mom had a brain aneurysm and a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the really sad part. And I think that was like
Oh,
show.
I'm sorry. There was part of it where I tuned out. It
Yeah.
must have been their part. Sorry. That
And
is sad.
so we did see, where Joey said he kind of pulled back a little bit from Michael because he's worried about his mom and that he's going to have to at some point be, her caregiver. They didn't know if she was going to make it. And, it was really kind of sad for him because he's kind of, he didn't say he went into a depression, but that's kind of what it sounded like he was getting, going into a depression because he pulled away from everything and everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to deal with his mom. And Michael, who was really weird this week, you may have missed it, but it looks like he's growing some sort of porn mustache while he's in prison because he no longer looks like this. He has like this full, I don't know, mustache growing in, which looks really weird. But he was more concerned about Joey because he was like, well, I'm really not sure what's going on with him because he hasn't been talking to him, right? So we did see Joey meet up with another friend of his. And one thing I can say about Joey is that he seems to have a good support system with friends. Like his friends are nice.
Okay.
And I forgot the lady's name, but he went to go visit her and, he's just sitting down, kind of talking this through and he's rethinking the whole situation because he's like, not knowing how long Michael has in prison, not knowing if he's, willing to wait it out. Right. Especially considering what he may have going on with his mom. So he's kind of rethinking it. It's kind of like it's putting it in perspective for him now, like what's really important. Is it this relationship with Michael? Is it the family things that I have to deal with? And I think, he's just kind of rethinking what he has going on with Michael.
And the potential to relapse.
Right. Absolutely. Because I think it's probably, that's one of the things he's kind of pushing away because he knows what he's feeling inside, because I would think as an addict, when you have things like this that happen,
Brings you right back to those places that you want to numb.
Right. So he probably, really struggles with that sort of thing. So that's why I said it was sad for him this week. And I really kind of felt bad, with this situation.
Somebody like and describe said there is a librarian out there for the garden gnome.
Wait, not the garden gnome.
I said garden gnome. But like and describe said there is a librarian out there somewhere for the last guy.
Yeah, this is true. Somebody says, oh yeah, he does resemble a garden gnome. He did. But then Joey kind of does too. They kind of resemble each other in that way, except for the ears.
Yes, please like the video, people.
But yeah, they really just talked to his friend and he kind of rethought his situation. I didn't really have too much going on with Joey and Michael this week. I hate to say it,
I hope they don't work out. Sorry.
Anytime
somebody can put you back into, one of my best friends is a recovering addict who got with another addict whom they met in recovery. And if you have a strong support system in that other person, then it's great. But if the other person is like relapsing and hiding it from you and stuff like that, it almost pushes you back in it. So if Michael is not really willing to give it up once he's outside, then that's not a good match.
Yeah. And, the fact that, how they met, because of course we talked about that last week, I think it's really a bad situation. I think when they tell you, when you go through rehab that you're not supposed to form relationships with other people that are in rehab, right? Not like love
my friend was out. My friend had already gone through the first step, and was now, addiction is a lifelong thing.
Right.
They were both recovered or in recovery, and the guy was working as a cook at the rehab center and she had her own job, but she was helping other people. So they were both out of the space, but he relapsed and, almost drew her back in.
Yeah.
So they got a divorce. I think that Michael is going to get high the first day and is going to want some type of sexual stuff that Joey's not interested in.
Oh, I definitely agree. Michael is into some stuff that Joey's not interested in. I mean, just because by way of him telling him what he needs to do, he's not going to be able to satisfy him, right? Because he's not what he's looking for. And I think Joey knows that, you know. I think he knows that Michael, you know, he's not normally Michael's type.
I think that another recurring theme is these people who are attracted to the bad boy image or bad
Mhm.
girl image. That you, oh, what did you do to get in prison? Oh, like I could see the stripper saying,
Yeah. Well, I get it, you know, from Michael. I mean, with this whole dynamic, I really see it like Joey knowing that he's a bad boy. And I think he's going for that. Like, I can see that in this situation, you know, like, I think that's what he was looking for in Michael.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michael's probably planning his OnlyFans right now.
Ew. With the porn stash.
He's
Does
probably
he have that
planning
porn
his
stash going?
probably planning his OF right now because now he got a little fame from Love After Lockup.
Oh, absolutely. This is nothing but a personal ad for him. Oh man.
That
Okay.
he's sad about his mom.
Yeah, that is terrible. Really terrible. I hope she's okay. So let me go on to our next people. Now, the next group that I have is Shante and True. We didn't talk about them
Oh,
last.
hold on. Tanika says he looks like a high Kevin Bacon, and now I can't unsee
He
that.
does.
I was trying to figure out who he looked like. Yes, Kevin Bacon with no lips.
Absolutely.
LaDawn says they don't want you to get into recovery. They don't want you to get into a relationship your first year of recovery. You should stay focused on your sobriety.
And that makes sense. And that makes sense. Absolutely.
And there would be no reason to rush if you were actually in love.
Right. Yeah, these two are a bit of a wreck happening. But again, like I said, I hope, you know, things are okay for Joey and his mom. But I seriously, hopefully this will make him take a look at, you know, what's going on with his relationship. But we'll see. Next week, it may just be back to where it was, you know? So hold on. The next one we're looking at is Shante and True. So Shante, we did
Was she
not,
on last week's?
huh?
Was she on last week's?
She wasn't on last week.
Okay, so yeah, I just met them today, and I can tell you this. You have a picture of them?
There we go.
Why are their hairlines in the same space? Both of their hairlines start like right here. So it would be like if I had that wig on and the braids started here. Is that like a look in Missouri or wherever they're from?
No, well, it didn't seem like all of the family members had this because we did see the other family members this week. But
He
for
saw
the
it, right? His hair, he purposefully shaved his head to a certain point and started the braids, and so did she. That's love.
you think they got it for each other? I think it's just the two of them.
That's love.
So these two, let me give you a little bit of backstory because I know you didn't know it from last time. Now, Shantae,
Like, sorry, on this picture you just posted, True looked like one of the women from Set It Off. That looks like one of the Set It Off. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Wait, okay. So True and Shantae met because Shantae's brother introduced her to True. Now they've never met in person, right? This was like a prison meetup thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've dated for about 2 years, and she's mentioned that she spent $30,000 in those 2 years that they've been together on True. Previously on another episode, the brother had a conversation with her and was basically like, you know I introduced you guys because I thought you were just kind of looking for a good time, but this man is really not the one for you. Like he basically straight up told her, like, I didn't know this was going to last as long as it has. This is getting a little bit out of hand. I mean, he said it very nicely, but he really kind of let her know, like, this is not the guy for you.
Who said that?
Her brother, the one that introduced the two of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, her brother said this. She actually moved from Kansas to Missouri, right? So that I guess that he can live with her when he gets out. And she's actually paying the mortgage on her place in Kansas and Missouri at the exact same time. So she's like out a whole lot of money just trying to be with this man and spend time with this man.
But won't visit him in jail.
Right? So this week, Well, actually, another piece from the backstory is that she also wants to open up a restaurant, right?
Mhm.
And she wants to be the cook in the restaurant, and he is going to manage the restaurant. Like they have these big plans to open up a restaurant, and she's going to cook, and he's going to manage the money piece of the
Where is
restaurant.
she getting this money from?
She's going to take out $100,000 loan, is what she says, to open this restaurant for the two of them.
So she's a PPP scammer.
Yeah. Not only that, but he has, even in the first episodes, he has told her that he doesn't even normally date black women. He only dates white women. He thinks that black women are ghetto and ratchet, and he only dates white women. This is the first black woman he's ever dated.
The black women are ratchet, but he's in prison.
But you are in prison. Yeah. So that's kind of where we are with Shante and True.
He looks now. I know who he looks like. I couldn't figure it out. He looks like Nene's son Bryson in this.
You
photo.
think so?
He looks like Bryson. Yes, that's who this man looks like. Who's also not a prize.
I would have to go back and see a picture of Bryson because I can't remember what Bryson looks like without seeing him.
He looks like Bryson. You have to make my screen bigger.
Oh, wait, how do I do that?
Take off the Shante and True picture.
Okay, so let me take this off. Oh, there we go.
He
does. What if they were related?
Well, Nene wouldn't know. She didn't really know her dad.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that's
but that I did pick up on that without knowing that tidbit when the mom was like looking her up and down, and I was thinking, so this woman who looks like a normal lady,
right?
You aren't thinking. You're thinking that your son is the catch. That's what I got from the conversation.
I don't even think that about. I mean, I don't think that she thinks that her son is the catch, and let me tell you why. Like, I'm gonna get into that in a second, right? So, she takes her niece to go meet up with the mom and the sister, right? Because they want to meet before the release. Okay.
You know why she did that, though, right?
What brought the niece?
Well,
she said because she was expecting things to go left, and so she was bringing the niece like back up.
It was the one show that I watched from your franchises, and it was the plus size lady and the little short light skinned man, and who had the trans sister.
Oh yeah.
Who fought the women. That's what I think she was thinking was going to happen. So she brought her niece that could fight. But Shante looks like she could hold her own too.
Yeah, I think so too. And of the people that she had in that room, the niece looked pretty small. So I wouldn't think, but I don't know. You can't really tell if somebody's a fighter or not. So, I mean, but she had her like waiting in the, like, you sit over here at this table. Like she could have joined in, like it was a family thing, but she's like, nah, you sit here. Like, I don't know what that was about. But anyway, so she was expecting that things were going to go wrong. And backstory on that, right? Apparently, he and his mom weren't getting along, or they didn't get along. They just recently started talking again because his mom testified against him in court. She was a character witness for the prosecution. She basically got other people. She encouraged other people to testify against him in court. And she told them, like, lock him up, basically, because he's going to do wrong if he gets out again. Like, this is what his mother did.
What was he in jail for?
I forgot to write that down.
I'll look it up. I'll be your
I forgot. But yeah, I just remember that. And the mom testified against him, I found that to be really, really crazy. But I mean, I get it.
Unless he stole from her.
Huh?
Unless he stole from her.
Or if she thought that he was going, into a lifestyle of something where he was either going to be dead or, something was going to happen to him, like there's reasons why I think as a mother, you would testify against, I don't know at what point you just testify against your kid though. I mean, there's a certain line that I'd be like, okay, if my son did this, this, or this, I would testify against him. It's maybe only a couple of things. Like otherwise, I don't know, like, out again. Like, this is what his mother did.
Hold on, I got the thing playing. Let's see if this woman. It says it took me to TikTok. What is True in jail for? But
so somebody says, like and describes, says, didn't he rob KFC? Wouldn't that be crazy?
He robbed the KFC.
That's what somebody says in the chat. Like, didn't he rob KFC?
I don't know. I feel very weird about people. I feel very weird about people who look at your child, the criminal, who you wanted in jail, and you're looking Shanta up and down. Like, if anything, she should have been trying to warn her. If you then testified against the man, then you could have been there to be like, well, you know, my son ain't shit. But you are looking down like, well, she's not even his type. So you're part of the problem. That's probably why he acts like that.
I don't know though, because let me say this, like even in their conversation, right? Because as they're talking, when she's telling her things and they're talking, she's really kind of asking her, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you haven't even gone to see him. Like, you guys have never met. Like, she's bringing up all of these things that would lead you to believe that she really doesn't want them together, or she doesn't think it's going to last. I don't know if she's doubting that it's going to last, you know, if it's because she doesn't like it, or she just doesn't think that or she thinks her son is good for nothing. And I think she thinks her son's good for nothing.
I didn't get that when she was like, why you didn't visit him? That felt accusatory to me. You knew.
That question did.
You knew that she didn't go visit him. That wasn't anything that just came up. Here's the thing. I've never had a sit-down dinner waiting for my prisoner to get out with their But in the moment where you have somebody who has a plan of action, like, I'm going to let this person live with me, I want them to be on the straight and narrow. If you appreciated your child getting out and going to the right kind of life, you would be a little bit more gracious with this person. And I didn't get that. Or maybe they don't have the range for that. But if you really wanted your son in prison because you felt he was going down the wrong road and somebody's trying to offer him stability, and you over here like, he didn't tell you he really going to be in my house. Like, you wanted a moment on television, ma'am. You wanted to be messy.
See, okay, well, here's what I thought about that, right? So I know that she thought that he was going to go home to, the mom thought that he was going to go home to her house, right? And Shante thought that he was going to go to that house, to her house. However, he lied. Like, he's lying to both of them. And I think the mom, when she said, she was like, oh no, he's supposed to be coming here, I think it was really pointing out to her, like, this man's a liar. Like, he's telling you one thing, he's telling me something else, and he's still doing the same things that he was doing before. He's lying, right? Like, I thought it was really,
it gave smug to me. We'll agree to disagree. I really felt like the mom and sister came and they were going to let her have it regardless. And I feel like that's why her guard was up. And I feel like that's why he wanted the phone to be on speaker, because he knew that he had lied to both.
Well, I do think that. I do think he wanted the phone on speaker because he had lied, and he knew he was going to get caught in those lies by their conversations. But, you know, even the fact when they asked, like, you know, well, why did you ask her to marry? Why did you ask her to marry you? And he's like, I don't know. Like, the fact that she even let him say that, like, if somebody
I can't answer that.
Right, like, what the hell do you mean you can't?
And I can't put money on your commissary, nigga.
And then that was the other thing. The mom was the one who was calling and asking her for the money. Did you see that part too? Like, when she was like, yeah, the mom will call and ask me, like, why I haven't put money on his books yet.
Like, you got a real winner. And you have like multiple children.
Who does? Him?
No, right? There was children, right? Shante?
Yes, she does. She does. She has children involved.
You have multiple children.
That you have
uprooted them for this man who can't even answer on camera. Did he even propose to her, or did she propose to him like Chrissy from Love and Hip Hop?
She said it was a whole thing where her son, who's 16 years old, was involved in the proposal, where he was, I guess, on the phone, and he asked her to marry him, and the son had the ring, and the son put the ring on her finger, and she was, you know, that just warmed her heart.
Where did you get the money for the ring from?
I don't know. It had to have been her, because, you know, she's the one who spent $30,000 on this man. She's not like the other prisoner who's, you know, funding her lifestyle.
Shanta got to do better. At this point, she could go get with Nene's son. He's single.
Anybody would be better. Like, it's clear to everyone around her, even like the family, when she met with them, and her own family, and they're talking, and, you know, she's like, oh, you have to make sacrifices for your man. And her family's like, no, you don't. Like, no, nobody's making the sacrifices that you are for this man who doesn't, and I'm going to go back to it, doesn't even like black women. Like, what is this? You don't even like, this is not your type.
She said she's also gonna finger pop herself and let him taste it and change his proclivities.
Well, let me say this much, because I think not the last episode, but the episode before this, she had been sending him pictures of herself, not, nude pictures, but fully clothed pictures, but pictures of herself, because he hadn't seen her. And so she's sending all these pictures. Well, her pictures started coming back. And I didn't know this, but what that means is that he had been receiving nude pictures from someone else, or somebody else had been sending him inappropriate pictures, right? So once somebody sends you inappropriate pictures and they intercept those pictures, you can no longer receive mail, and your mail will be returned to the person who sent it, right? So, she's not quite on Ayana's level where she may be doing that, because, she won't even send inappropriate pictures. She's sending fully clothed pictures, but somebody's sending him inappropriate pictures.
I do think that there is a space for people to get out of jail and find love, but I don't think the producers are putting them on camera. I think the producers are putting the ones on camera that are a hot, shitty mess. Because that's
what they are. But that makes for good TV, because that's exactly what they are, a hot mess. And I mean, this woman is like ride or die for her man. Like, this is her man, and she's going to stick beside him, whatever it goes. Like, I mean, anybody says anything, she's totally defending him.
This is almost like, who was that guy? He got out and became a model. Jeremy Meek.
Oh, yeah.
People knew he wasn't shit. And then he gets modeling gigs, gets into a space where he meets the owner of Topshop's daughter while he was still married, gets her pregnant. She thinks they're going to sail off into the sunrise, and he then moved on. Like, what did you expect from Prison Bay?
Right. Like these people who are like fawning over these mugshots of people. Ooh, wow, look at this person's mugshot. And then they're like after them. Like, I mean, there are some good people in prison, right? I mean, there's bad people that are not in prison. So either way, it's like a toss up. But the fact that you know that this person is giving you all of these red flags, and you're just like, tossing them to the side and just pushing forward with this relationship like it's something meaningful. What is that? What is that? Is it just to stay on the show for the rest of the time? Like, I'm going to stick through this? And I can't even say that that's her, because I feel like she's very sincere in how she feels about him. She really likes him.
He's going to cheat.
Oh,
he's going to come out of prison and get a white woman pregnant.
Definitely. If he doesn't have one now. Somebody
said I thought it was, I don't know. I thought the ladies of the pictures were Mexicans, but he's only into white women.
That's what he said. He likes white women.
Okay.
And I mean, I to be honest, like he says, the black women are ratchet and ghetto, but I don't think these are like upper echelon white women that he's dating.
Like if he would leave her for the woman from the first clip from Jocelyn's Cabaret.
Right. Just because she's white, right? Like that's what I think he's going for. But
side note, that lady has turned herself into a business and a brand.
Who's that?
The plus size woman who got beat up by the trans lady.
Oh, yeah.
She actually goes around now. She's gotten several endorsements, and she actually goes around and throws plus size pool parties.
Really?
So I think she is making the money off of this where he thought he would. Like he was getting appearances, but now she actually is still considered a pseudo celebrity.
Well, I'm glad for her, because that was a bad situation.
And you got beat up by a trans woman on live air.
What?
And beat bad too. She had them rolling around the ground with that face mask on.
She was a good one though. I mean, I liked watching the two. I think I did see an update that they did on them. And she was like, oh, here he is calling now. Like, so she hasn't really completely cut him out of her life.
She could be a sugar baby. Maybe the guy with the girl from Vegas should date her.
Which one? Yeah.
He, that'd be a good one. Are we done with them?
Yeah, we're done with them. I'm about to move on to Rick and Samantha. The partiers.
I was looking at his face. I felt really, really bad for him. In all honesty, Shanta, I felt really bad for the garden gnome guy and this guy. You can tell by his face and how he's aged that he had a problem with like alcohol.
Well, yeah, he was an alcoholic.
You can tell he had a problem with alcohol, and you can tell that he sincerely does want to make it work. Like both of these two, Samantha and Rick, seem like they're in love with being in love, which is why they have so many divorces under their belt.
I don't know. Um, this week's episode made me feel like Samantha has kind of a nasty attitude, and I also think that Samantha is a user.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go into that in just a minute. But
You can't have that level of grease in your hair and think that your attitude is going to be good.
she has a stank attitude. She has a really stank attitude. Because again, when she was like, this episode, I mean, this one starts when he's at home waiting for her call, and she's like, making him wait. Like he normally calls at, we'll say 6:30. And she doesn't call for like an hour and a half because she's mad about something. And it's like, Samantha, you're the one who's in prison. So now you're going to imprison Rick so that he has to wait on your call.
If you're dumb enough to do it.
Yeah. After this man has sat there and waited to serenade you with a love song.
That he was important to note that he wrote all the lyrics. That's what took me out. Sir, you probably should have just taken somebody else's love song and serenaded her.
Or at least made the song rhyme. I don't know.
Let me tell y'all an embarrassing story about Reddit.
About me?
Yeah, about you. I want to say maybe you were 16, maybe you were 18, but my mom had this R&B person, like a local group or something, come and serenade her. And this woman was so embarrassed. And I am the same. I've been the same since I was super, super young. If something is funny to me, I will laugh. And I will laugh loud and uncontrollably. And I just remember her being so embarrassed that this man was singing to her.
I forgot. Like I had blocked that memory.
It was like a Jodeci song or Boyz II Men. Maybe it was a Boyz II Men song. And she was so embarrassed, and it was done in front of the whole party. I think we were at my mom's best friend's house.
Yeah, right? It was my godmother's house.
And so everybody had to be quiet while she got serenaded.
Well, I sat there like this.
It was a good time. Oh. I had a really...
I mean, because here's the thing. What do you do when people serenade you? It's almost like when they sing happy birthday. You're just sitting there like this. Like, what do you do? What do you do? And it was a love song. This man wasn't in love with me. Like, what was the point?
I had a good time. Like, it was a good time for me. But okay, I digress. He wrote her a song.
Yeah, so he wrote her a song, and she seemed to like that wore down, like melted her just a little bit because he sang the song, and she was excited about that. And the fact that
I've never been serenaded is actually what she said.
Yeah, that was exactly what she said in her smoker's voice. Mm-hmm. She was excited that he was going to finally go to Idaho, right? So I'm thinking, okay, she's excited to get her body wash, but apparently she has a laundry list of things that he was going to get her when he got there, including crepe erase. I'm not sure why you need crepe erase, while you're incarcerated with these women, but okay.
I'm mad that I know what that is. Like when you can't sleep, and there's always on infomercials.
Yeah, you've seen it. That's exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah. So this is the stuff that she's asked for. So he finally, gets out to Idaho, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets there and he meets Ricardo, his Uber driver. Now, I loved Ricardo. That was one of my highlights of the show, was seeing Ricardo. Ricardo seems like he is a good time. Ricardo is the Uber driver he met on a previous trip that actually became his friend. So he gets to Idaho and he calls him, and he comes up in the Uber and he's ready to go. Like he has on his, I don't know, was that a fur vest, his gold chain?
It was something. He looked like a character out of South Park.
He really did, but he was excited to pick him up. Or
The Simpsons. He could have been a Simpsons character. Yeah.
He was really funny. But he's happy to see him. He's listened to his story and he's kind of like, oh, okay, I know just where to take you to get, your ring. And So he goes to the pawn shop, and they're looking for rings. And another thing I didn't realize, he's looking for a ring, but there's only certain rings he can get. Like he can't get anything with a setting on it because I guess maybe she got into a fight.
Well, it's up his alley, but it ain't up Samantha's alley. Samantha ain't gonna be happy with it was a sterling silver ring.
Like a band, right? Just like a band. So I'm guessing that, that was all she could have. So he actually won on that point because it was like what, $90?
I feel really bad for Rick. I feel super bad for Rick.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of won at the pawn shop, right? But then he goes on and he's like, okay, so I have more things that I need to buy. And they go to a vitamin shop. Now, this is the point where I'm thinking that she's actually using him. This man spends $500 on vitamins for her.
I don't see a problem with that.
Does Samantha look like a bodybuilder to you? Like, what is she doing with all of these vitamins?
Fit into her wedding dress.
Do you think she's a health nut?
I was more mad that you spent $90 on my ring and $500 on my vitamins.
But she knew she asked for all this stuff, and I tend to think that Ricardo was right when he said that she may be selling these vitamins. Because I'm really not thinking that. I mean, I take vitamins. I'm a healthy person. I'm not spending $500 on vitamins.
Vitamins are expensive, and you forget that you're a woman. The average man knows that they are going to have to invest money into the woman. So, it's a little different with, what's her name? Chanta?
Oh,
Shante. That's her name, Shante?
Shonta?
The one with the hair pushed back?
Yeah, Shante.
Okay. The average man knows that he's going to have to put out to get with a woman. So I'm not as surprised when I see female inmates having a laundry list or expecting money on their books, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I get it. Like these people, buying things. I'm just saying, for me, $500 worth of vitamins seemed to be a lot when I looked at what she had out there.
I mean, she probably is selling crepe away. The women want to look rightful when they get out. They don't want any crepes. I get it.
So I don't know. So he's gotten all the stuff, and I guess he's going to go and see her. They didn't show the part, where they finally met up. So the last thing we kind of saw was him getting all the things on the list and him walking out and his friend kind of looking at him like, okay. But yeah, I thought their scene was pretty funny because Ricardo was hilarious to me.
So Rick is a retiree, recovering alcoholic, and he probably just spends his days thinking about Samantha, but he doesn't have a lot of cash. Do you think that it's gonna make it? Like, do you see them going further than maybe 6 months?
Yeah, I kind of do, only because they do have that history, right? They're not like a couple that just met or somebody introduced them. They actually knew each other a long time ago. And I think that if she
is she gonna give up drinking and partying, basically?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If she is, being authentic in her sobriety, right? Then I think that the two of them could be okay.
I see Samantha 6 months from now in a American flag crop top, a blue jean skirt, and some kitten heels at somebody's bar with the same hair.
Boozing it up with Angela from 90 Day Fiance.
That's what I see in her. I've only seen 2 episodes, but yeah, that's what I get. Crop top, skirt set, party in the front. What is it? What's the mullet? Party in the front and business in the back. Business in the front,
and party in the back.
That's what I see her doing. And I see Rick wanting to settle down and have companionship and probably, go to a matinee movie, like budget-friendly things, or go to a nice cafeteria, or, go fishing.
I see Samantha running him. I see her completely running him. I mean, she's running him now and she's not even free. I see her completely running him.
He's a little simpish.
Yeah. But the other thing, I guess my question comes in is because you were complaining last week that you didn't have enough money to even visit her in Ohio. But now, not only do you have enough money to visit her in Ohio, is it Idaho? Idaho. You didn't have enough money to visit her in Idaho. Now you went to visit her. You went to the pawn shop and bought her a ring. You spent $500 on the vitamins. Like, where are you getting all this money from?
He
That you
probably was
didn't have
saving it. He's probably saving it.
Well, that sucks.
He should just go ahead and get a Walmart greeter job because he's not going to be able to support himself. I don't see Samantha running to get a job. And the Walmart and the Costco greeters, which they usually reserve for older people or people with disabilities, make like $18 an hour. They make really good money. He's not going to be able to sustain. If he can't sustain just himself and to send her some money, then he's going to need to get a job if Samantha is who he really wants.
Right. Well, then they didn't say much about what Samantha did when she was on the outside because she had to have done something. This was like a DUI.
Samantha worked at a diner
for a living, huh?
Samantha worked at a diner.
Yeah, you did say last time where Samantha worked.
Samantha worked at a diner and her version of Coyote Ugly at night.
I don't know. All right. Well, that's the end of what we have for today.
Those are all the couples. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny, Michael.
Who's Michael?
Michael and Angela on 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, is he Nigerian and she's white?
There you go. That's who she's going to be at the bar with, Angela, the white woman.
Now, I didn't watch that show, but in YouTube drama, there were these people who were always fighting. One's name was like John Yates. He's in Jersey, and he knows her.
He knows Angela?
Very well. They go out and they party together and they hang out. And I just remember like during all the dramas and beefs and stuff like that, she would be giving him like exclusive stuff. Now, I don't watch 90 Day Fiance and stuff like that, but that's back when he would still pop up on my feed and she would be visibly drunk. Talking about Yo-Yo Siwa because she knows her.
Oh, Jojo
Siwa. And
Angela knows Jojo?
They're friends.
Stop it.
Mm-mm.
I did not know that.
When I look at Samantha, I think older Jojo.
Wow.
Jojo Siwa is out here living her best life.
Yeah, she is. I'm not a fan though.
With Angela. At parties and stuff.
Who goes to a party with Angela? Like, you have to see this woman and hear her. Like, who goes to a party with Angela? Like, I wouldn't go anywhere with Angela.
I would go to a party with Angela and record.
Angela will turn on you in a minute. You would think you would go to a party with Angela, but Angela will get drunk and turn on you and try to fight you. Like, that's how Angela is.
I would pull out her Britney Spears ponytail so quick if that woman try to unzip her pleather outfit. Every time I see her, I think of her in that pleather Britney Spears one piece, and then the Britney Spears ponytail. Yeah. Anyway, well, this was fun. I can't believe you have me watching this show. No.
I started watching another one. I don't
want to know.
It's called Inmate to Roommate. It's about these people who are in jail and they get out, and I guess there are people who offer to allow them to be a roommate to them, when they're recently released, and it's crazy. It's all kinds of crazy.
I'm okay.
I just found that one last week.
Well, that's good. They say there's an audience for everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Not LaDawn saying she watches it too. I'm
LaDawn, we gotta start reviewing it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.